What is ADHD and how does it affect students and individuals' everyday lives? ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. ADHD affects an individual's everyday lives as well as their lives in school. ADHD is the most common disorder affecting children, and around 6.4 million students are diagnosed with ADHD. ADHD also affects many adults, but however, it is more seen in males than females. And the diagnosis of ADHD has increased by 53% since the early 2000s. ADHD is the first identified in school-aged children when it leads to disruption in the classroom or problems with behavior. In addition, in many instances, ADHD appears to be the result of brain abnormalities that limit the student's ability to focus their attention and control their behaviors. I want you to be able to experience what it's like to live the life of someone with ADHD. I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pencil and sit in your chairs as you are right now. The questions I'm going to ask you will be yes or no answers. I really want you to think about these answers, and I do not want you to think that there is a right or wrong answer, because there is not. The first question is, are you moving any parts of your body as I'm talking? I know I'm moving my body as I'm talking right now. For example, are you tapping your foot or playing with your pencil? 2, are you wondering about what is going on in the hallway or outside the window? 3, do you feel like you want to blurt out the answers right now rather than write them down? Are you wondering what your plans are for the week? Are you wondering about what's for lunch or what's for dinner? Lastly, were you able to engage in my questions and really think about them? Students with ADHD will most likely answer yes to their first 4 questions and no for the last. While these thoughts and actions happen every once in a while for us students without ADHD, students who have ADHD are constantly experiencing this. They are constantly moving, wanting to blurt out, having other thoughts, and having trouble learning new information as their brain is thinking about so many other things. Could you imagine not being able to focus or concentrate without knowing it? There are many characteristics to students who have ADHD. Although not all students who have ADHD have the following deficits, they may experience one or all of these. In school, students who have ADHD experience impulsivity, which causes students to have trouble with inhibiting inappropriate behaviors. For example, they may blurt out answers or engage in behaviors without thinking about the consequences. Another characteristic of a student with ADHD may be hyperactivity. The student may seem to have an excess amount of energy. They may be fidgety or move around the classroom at inappropriate times. Another main characteristic is inattentiveness. The student may have trouble focusing and maintaining attention on assigned tasks, especially when there are other opportunities available. The student may also have trouble with following directions. The main characteristics that are mostly associated with those who have ADHD are inappropriate action and thoughts. In addition to these characteristics I have also mentioned, some other characteristics include exceptional imagination and creativity, struggling with time management and planning, daydreaming, and poor social skills. In everyday life for someone with ADHD, they may experience poor social skills and interpersonal difficulty, problems with planning and time management, greater use of media, such as TV time or computer time, disorganization, trouble coping with stress, mood swings, and low frustration tolerance. Students with ADHD may not necessarily show all these characteristics. However, all students with ADHD appear to have at least one characteristic in common, such as inhibiting inappropriate thoughts and inappropriate actions, or both. Managing ADHD, there are medications that can help decrease some of the symptoms of ADHD but not cure it. However, there are many ways teachers can adapt instruction for students with ADHD to enable classroom success. One instruction may include modifying student work. For example, testing students in ways that they do best, such as orally or filling in the blank, accepting late work, and giving partial credit for partial work. Divide long-term projects into sections and summarize key points at the end of lessons. This can help students to be more successful that have ADHD in the class. Information delivery is also another great strategy. Giving instructions one at a time and repeating if necessary, using visuals such as charts, pictures, and color coding, Creating outlines for note-taking that organize information as delivered can also be helpful. So additions to helping keep students organized is by helping them create a to-do list, giving students a settling in time after recess or lunch, give students a list of how the day will go, emailing students' parents with information and homework if needed. A few other strategies include providing outlets for excess energy, such as providing a quiet space for students to work with opportunities to exercise. Students may also benefit from soundproof headphones, and allowing students to move to a new location if distracted can help attention and concentration. Lastly, modifying students' work environments and schedules, minimizing distractions, such as their seating arrangement, moving them away from doors and windows. Also, students should have the most challenging task at the beginning of the day rather towards the end, as their ADHD can increase. Overall, it is very important to grow relationships with students and be able to make accommodations to improve their learning and adapt to their needs. Identifying students with ADHD can be helpful to understand how they may behave and learn. There are many strategies I have mentioned that are efficient for students with ADHD. However, remember to keep in mind that all students learn differently, and these strategies may not work for every student.